Howdy, howdy, y'all. It is another Maharaj episode or chapter. Chapter 58 Perfection, Destiny of All. It's really funny because my friend Alan Zazam, however he says his YouTube name, I just know him by his real name. He he actually was the one who the guy. He was the guy who got me this book, and he talked to me. If you don't know, he talked to me about Maharaj for years while we had lived together before and stuff, and so I had gotten exposure to Maharaj in that way through him. And actually, lately, because we're still friends, we hang out all the time. In fact, we were talking about Maharaj, and he actually had kind of brought he had brought up essentially had brought up this chapter. I mean, this idea at least of that all beings that their destiny is perfection, and he's brought it up multiple times lately. So it's just kind of an interesting sort of thing there, and especially because too, there's a part where he says there's a very interesting part here because especially because of my own personal recent spiritual stuff that's happened with me, and but obviously most of my life I've always had that sort of urge to want to have spiritual growth. Like if given the opportunity, or I would at least consciously, I would say, maybe say, yeah, of course. Maybe unconsciously, not, of course not, because like that's the whole human experience, right? It's dealing with all these different factors and like getting control of your mind and being able to focus it. And that's what he talks about in this. In fact, he talks about like in the very beginning, he talks about they talk about why is it that focusing on the I am helps you with self realization. Because questioner, I mean, this is the very first thing right off the bat. When asked about the means for self realization, you inevitably stress the importance of the mind dwelling on the sense I am. Where is the causal factor? Why should this particular thought result in self realization? How does the contemplation of I am affect me? There's a typo in here. It says I aim. It's supposed to be I am. But yeah, of I am affect me. Maharaj, the very fact of observation alters the observer and the observed. After all, what prevents the insight into one's true nature is the weakness and obtuseness of the mind and its tendency to skip the subtle and focus on the gross only. When you follow my advice and try to keep your mind on the notion I am only, you become fully aware of your mind and its very vagueness. Awareness being lucid harmony in action dissolves dullness and quiets the restlessness of the mind, and gently, but steadily changes its substance. This change need not be spectacular. It may be hardly noticeable, yet it is a deep and fundamental shift from darkness to light, from inadvertence to awareness. So it's like he's trying to really say here, like, it's just the focusing of the mind shifts the mind these subtle ways, and then you can proceed with the task forward. This is just how the human mind works. I mean, think about it. Like whether it is, if we're talking about spiritual enlightenment or trying to become a skateboarder or becoming, the best football player or whatever, it always starts with focusing on that and reorienting the mind to focus forward. So I think that's really you can really interpret it as he's kind of just talking about doing that. And the way you do that is you can start by the concentration and even saying I am. You know, this is something Krishna talks about even too in the Gita and whatnot. But another interesting quote Maharaj says in here, shortly after this, is I really like this too. He says, the urge to find oneself is a sign that you are getting ready. The impulse always comes from within. Unless your time has come, you will have neither the desire nor the strength to go for self inquiry wholeheartedly. So, and this is what's interesting because, especially later on, you'll find that, yeah, Maharaj is not really. I don't think most people would say he's the sort that says, oh, it's about you progressing, that, because it's kind of two thoughts, right? There's the kind of the camp that you progress into enlightenment, and then there's the camp that says it just happens at a snap. You just because you've realized it. Um, yeah. So when you think about what Sadhguru, with the yeah, and he used the term Sadguru, Sadguru. Um, in response to this, because the questioner has said, is not the grace of the Guru responsible for desire and its fulfillment? Is not the Guru's radiant face the bait on which we are caught and pulled out of this mirror of sorrow? Maharaj is the inner Guru, Sadguru, who takes you to the outer Guru, as a mother takes her child to a teacher. Trust and obey your Guru, for he is the messenger of your real self. How do I find a Guru whom I can trust? Maharaj, your own heart will tell you. There's no difficulty in finding a guru because the guru is in search of you. And so that's why I'm saying with it's and he does this with everything. Gurus do like just a realization. He's for him, Maharaj will say he's more of the enlightenment happens in the snap. That's kind of the camp that he's in. While there's others that will say he's about, progression and people are saying, oh, you kind of progress into this enlightenment, this self-realization. Some might even say that the two are kind of intertwined in a way that you kind of progress to a point where then the moment the big snap happens, that's kind of more of the camp I would say I'm in, or the way I kind of understand it, this whole process to be. Um, and I think that's kind of what I would argue that's what in some ways Maharaj kind of describes as well. Because especially when he talks about back earlier, that all this needs to happen when you're wholeheartedly, that when your whole heart and being is into it, and when you have the urge for this. I mean, that's a lot of that is just living numerous lifetimes to going through the cycle as an atman, as a soul, to a point where you're eventually going to be like, okay, maybe it's time to do this self inquiry, maybe it's time to do this stuff. So that's what I would argue, at least. And so that's what I would say is, I don't know why I brought it up other than just say that I don't think those two camps need to be opposed to each other in that way. Uh, I don't think it's necessary. I think both are kind of correct in a way. It's that you're progressing towards the point of the snap, of that sort of big moment. And then when the big moment happens, yeah, then then it happens. Then you're self-realized and all that. Um, I just say they kind of do talk a lot about in this about the guru and like when to find the guru and whatnot, which honestly is kind of relevant for me because I feel like I'm kind of probably in that stage myself, trying to find a decent guru too. I understand that, but I do like how Maharaj in this he does describe everything, the cosmos itself as a guru, which I kind of think of. I kind of have before this I've thought similar to. So if anything, I felt this kind of was very validating for me in a way. It's like yes, I don't have my guru yet, but it will happen when it's meant to. If it does need to, it will happen when it needs to, essentially. And so that's like the big thing he will take from this, and that the universe will kind of steer for that to happen because the guru is also in search for you. And when the guru knows you're ready, the guru and the universe are already one. They're going to work together to make it happen. Um, because even in response to, is my first guru also my last, or do I have to pass from guru to guru? This is what the questioner had asked. Maharaj, the entire universe is your guru. You learn from everything if you are alert and intelligent. Were your mind clear and your heart clean, you would learn from every passerby. It is because you are indolent and restless that your inner self manifests as the outer guru and makes you trust him and obey. And I like that he says, if you were alert and intelligent, where your if you're alert and intelligent, where your mind clear and your heart clean, you would learn from every passerby. Because that's funny. I feel like sometimes you can't do that. I definitely have felt those moments where like you see something and whether that person is trying to actually teach you something or not, or even that was even what they were trying to do. You find a lesson in there, like, oh, there's something interesting here going on. I observed there. And so I feel like a lot of that. I feel that for sure. I felt those moments as well. So it's very, like I said, very, that part I also very much enjoyed. Um, oh, this one I also like too. Because this one I also felt like kind of, I've had thoughts about this lately too. Questioner, is there no end to self-discovery? Maharaj, as there is no beginning, there is no end. But what I have discovered by the grace of my guru is I am nothing that can be pointed at. I am neither this nor a that. This holds absolutely. Questioner, then where comes in that never-ending discovery, the endless transcending oneself into new dimensions? Maharaj, all this belongs to the realm of manifestation. It is in the very structure of the universe that the higher can be had only through the freedom of the lower. What is the lower? Questioner, what is the lower and what is the higher? Maharaj, look at it in terms of awareness. Wider and deeper consciousness is higher. All that lives works for protecting, perpetuating, and expanding consciousness. This is the world's sole meaning and purpose. It is the very essence of yoga, ever rising level of consciousness, discovering new dimensions with their properties and qualities and powers. In that sense, the entire universe becomes the school of yoga. Is perfection questioner, is perfection destiny of all human beings? Maharaj, of all living beings. Ultimately, the possibility becomes a certainty when the notion of enlightenment appears in the mind. Once a living being has heard and understood that deliverance is within his reach, he will never forget, for it is the first message from within. It will take root and grow, and in due course take the blessed shape of the Guru. So, like I said, that's what I mean. Like you can argue that he's very much a, you know, oh snap, and there is no progression. You just are. But like that right there, I mean, every living being will eventually find his perfection. And arguably, some would say that's through a progression. But like I say, I think both schools of thought are pretty valid. And like I said, I think even within this, you can see that both the schools of thought with that Maharaj is operating under here. And I think that's a lot of gurus, and probably most nowadays. Um, I want to end this all. Like I said, I thought all of that was pretty powerful, and I like his explanation of the higher and the lower, and the other, and that understanding of what that is, what the world is doing. That is what's literally what he just described. That is what is going on right now, this very moment, as you're watching this video, as I'm making this video, is that consciousness is expanding and discovering new dimensions. And in doing so, and that's why it manifests itself in all these different forms, including you and me. And we're just part of that one consciousness, that one form, that one universe, just practicing the yoga and expanding itself and trying to understand itself better and better. And it just keeps going and going. But on that note, I want to end it with this quote. That actually, because for once, because normally, because for some of these quotes used to in a quote, and an actual quote, but they haven't been doing that for a while. But finally, they have one that does so. Maharaj's quote: "Keep the I am in the focus of awareness. Remember that you are. Watch yourself ceaselessly, and the unconscious will flow into the conscious without any special effort on your part. There are no steps to self realization." Uh, yeah, like I said, no steps. It's just all, it's just a flow and the snaps, flows and snaps. It's all just a process. It's all, there are no steps. You are self realized. You just don't realize it yet. So, on that note, I hope you all have a good one. Hare Krishna, y'all. Peace.